Hello students and everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I am going to teach you active and passive voice English grammar. Active voice describes a sentence where the subject is the doer of an action. Active voice means the subject performs the action of a verb in a sentence. The structure of active voice in a sentence is subject plus verb plus object. For example, the dog chased the squirrel. The dog is the subject, chased is the verb, the squirrel is the object. Subject the dog performs the action of a verb chased of this sentence. So the sentence is in active voice. Let's talk about passive voice. Passive voice expresses an action that is carried out on the subject of the sentence. Passive voice means the subject receives the action of a verb in a sentence. The structure of passive voice in a sentence is object plus verb plus subject. We already studied the example of active voice in a sentence. You have to change this sentence into passive voice. If you are changing this sentence into passive voice, object should come first. After the object there should be verb, and after the verb there should be subject. Let's change this sentence into passive voice. The squirrel was chased by the dog. This is the passive voice. The squirrel is the object, was chased is the verb, the dog is the subject. Subject the dog receives the action of a verb was chased. This is the chart of an examples of active and passive voice. Different types of tenses, active and passive voices of sentences are given. Emma writes a letter. Emma is the subject, writes is the verb, a letter is the object in active voice. Now you have to change this sentence into passive voice. The sentence will become a letter is written by Emma. A letter is the object, is written is the verb, Emma is the subject in passive voice. The word writes in active voice and is written in passive voice shows you present simple tense. Next, Emma is writing a letter. Emma is the subject, is writing is the verb, a letter is the object in active voice. Now I have to change this sentence into passive voice. The sentence will become a letter is being written by Emma. A letter is the object, is being written is the verb, Emma is the subject in passive voice. The word is writing in active voice and is being written in passive voice shows you present continuous tense. Next, Emma wrote a letter. Emma is the subject, wrote is the verb, a letter is the object in active voice. Now you have to change this sentence into passive voice. The sentence will become a letter was written by Emma. A letter is the object, was written is the verb, Emma is the subject in passive voice. The word wrote in active voice and was written in passive voice shows you past simple tense. I taught you three different tenses, three examples of active and passive voice sentences. Remaining examples of sentences of different types of tenses, active and passive voice, you have to read it by yourself. Read it in a few seconds how I taught you first three examples. You have to follow the same rules other example sentences of active and passive voice of different tenses which I have already taught you three examples. Let's begin an exercise now. Change the voice. The questions are in active voice. You have to change into passive voice. I did not beat her. Correct answer is she was not beaten by me. I becomes me, her becomes she if you are changing into passive voice. If you have the word did on active voice, you have to add auxiliary verb was on passive voice. Remember this. Next, mother made a cake yesterday. Correct answer is a cake was made by mother yesterday. The word made is the past tense. If you have the past tense in active voice, you have to add auxiliary verb was in the passive voice if you are changing into passive voice. Remember this. In passive voice, there should be object first, and after the object there should be verb, and after the verb there should be subject if you are changing into passive voice. Next, she has written a novel. Correct answer is a novel has been written by her. Next, the tiger was chasing the deer. Correct answer is the deer was being chased by the tiger. Was chasing is the past continuous tense. If you have the past continuous tense in active voice and if you are changing into passive voice, you have to add word being on passive voice. Next, the boy teased the girl. Correct answer is the girl was teased by the boy. If you understood active and passive voice English grammar, give us the feedback or comments. Subscribe the channel, like and share. Thank you.